Are you ready to find out how to ethically use AI, especially as a virtual assistant? In this video, I'm going to dive through a question that I do get a lot when I am talking on stage, all about how to use AI for work and for business, which is how can we kind of keep navigating our way through using AI, especially as more and more people are kind of starting to draw the line of what is good AI use and what's not so good AI use. Now, the first thing I always say is always disclose if you are using AI. Now, as I am an AI consultant, this is something that I do a lot, especially if I'm showing things like prompts or my posts on Instagram or LinkedIn or Facebook or wherever else. I do make that joke of like, yeah, this is totally written by AI, or like, hey, I wrote this with AI, but I did make some tweaks. Because as I always say, always use AI as a first draft, not the final thing you're posting. So when it comes to you using AI for a lot of different reasons basically, or ways, not just with text, same thing with images, same thing with video, same thing with everything else that you do produce with AI, it is a good rule of thumb to tell people or to put it in the caption, put it somewhere else that you did create it with AI. That's why in a lot of different content platforms, they'll ask you to check off if you created this with AI, because it is just better to tell that rather than being called out on it. And worse if your client calls you out on it. Next is make sure to don't feed client data into public AI tools. So if you're only using an AI tool for the free version, or you're not even signed into that tool, make sure that you always redact or retract the client's name or their information, so then you are not leaking that information somewhere else. The biggest thing to keep in mind with a lot of the AI tools nowadays is they're still under training. They're being trained by how we use it. So if you are going to put in the information of your client, that means that you've kind of given that AI tool permission to keep reusing your client's information to train that AI basically. And you can imagine the dangers of that, of other people finding out, again, very important information about your client, and in a way that you don't want anyone else to know. So as best as you can put brackets around their name, around their information, and of course you can edit it later. But the main part of this is making sure that you are keeping in mind or just being mindful about the information that you put into AI. Next is making sure that if you have an NDA or a non-disclosure agreement with your client, that you're aligning it with how you're using AI. And that was a little bit obvious, but basically if your client has an NDA with you of like, this is what's okay, this is what's not okay when you're using AI, stick to what's okay. Don't have the AI kind of cross that line and boundary, for it wasn't me, it was the AI. Never use that as an excuse or a reason on why you used AI for certain things. Always keep to the privacy of your client and what was agreed upon for things that they don't want other people to learn or know about. Next is keep in mind that you are still responsible for the AI's mistakes. What I mean by this is if you are putting something out and you didn't read it, you didn't treat it as a draft, you just posted it or put it out there as a report, and it has mistakes, you are responsible for it. You're responsible for the output that you put out. Just because AI made it doesn't mean it's perfect. It's never been perfect or claimed to be perfect. So it's better to triple check your work when you are putting things out that was AI generated. Just because, again, you should always treat it as a first draft. You as the human, as the user, is the one to input and make it into something that's final. Which of course brings me to the next point of always do accuracy checks of what the AI suggests. This is also for two reasons. One is, of course, again, you don't want to put out something that is not actually relevant or not the thing that you wanted to do, but you just copy and paste it and thought AI could fix it. And on the other side as well is you want to train AI to get better and better in being more specific of what is the output that you are asking or that you want. So when you do this, when you're able to go ahead and correct the AI and give the feedback of like, hey, this sucks, like, hey, can you do this less? Can you do this more? You're able to keep training the AI to, again, get better when it comes to working with you, which in turn makes it better for everyone else experiencing and getting the trained AI. Next is making sure that you're using AI to enhance and not impersonate. What that means is you want to use it as a multiplier for your own skills rather than kind of pretending as you. So what I mean by that is if you are asking AI to write copy, for example, for social media, for whatever reason it is you want to keep in mind that it can only really duplicate your own skills of what you currently have. If you're currently a 9 out of 10 on copywriting, AI will reflect that. If you're currently a 5 out of 10, it doesn't mean that AI will cover basically that 9 out of 10 for you. It will just basically be at the level that you are. So you shouldn't use it to kind of mask your own capabilities, because there will be a time where you can't use AI for one reason or the other, and you don't want to be caught with your pants down. So that's what I mean of using AI to enhance but not impersonate. And finally, just build trust by staying ethical, by being open when you have used AI and when you haven't used AI. It's also keeping in mind that all of this is going to be constantly changing. It's going to be constantly shifting. AI has been getting better and better, as it should. That's what it's designed for. That means that we have to get better and better at using it and making sure that it stays in its lane, that we're not abusing it, that we're not basically being overpowered by it, because we as the users, we still have a lot of the control and impact on where AI is now. Who knows where it'll be in the future, but for now, as it's still getting trained, as it's still getting its baby legs or sea legs, it is still learning by how we use it and how we basically show it into the world. So keep it in mind to keep that trust basically with your client, with yourself, even by, again, telling people that you used AI for this, making sure that you don't disrupt any data, and you're also empowering yourself to be someone who uses AI a lot, because you are following your own ethics, your own guidelines on how to use it in the best way. Finally, the biggest thing is to keep building your critical thinking, is to keep that curiosity as you discover and find out more about AI. And it's also questioning things. It's also kind of, hey, is this right? Is this accurate? If you look it up, or if I looked at other sources, is this going to be the right thing? Now, AI, especially now with deep search on Grok, Gemini, and ChatGPT everywhere else, it's going to just keep getting smarter. But you want to keep that critical thinking where you're not just accepting what AI shows you or what AI says, is you're using and taking a step back and using essentially the power of the pause to make sure that the information is actually accurate and correct. Now, if you guys like this video, make sure to hit the thumbs up button right there. Comment below if you guys have any questions on how to be able to use AI the right way. And if you still haven't yet, make sure to hit the subscribe button right there so you don't miss any of my videos every Sunday and Thursday on how to work from home and how to have a business from home, which you guys can check out the Soup playlist right here and the latest video right here. Hope you guys have an amazing day. And remember that small steps matters, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!